guys had a lead in the middle of the third quarter, and then that big Dallas run was the difference. What did you see go sideways in that stretch?
Well, I didn't think our attention to detail on defense was very good. They got loose for some easy ones. We started fouling, getting to the free throw line, and turning the ball over. I mean, there were moments where, there's no transition defense for turnovers for scores, and we had multiple in a row. I mean, 27 points off of turnovers, and I felt like our group did some uncharacteristic things with the ball in our hands, and it led to easy buckets.
You kind of just described all this, but the turnovers, only 15 assists. What kind of led to the disorganization that you saw on the offensive end tonight?
Well, all of our point guards are injured. I think that's the first thing. And again, it's one of those things. Dallas turned up the pressure. I mean, defensively, they made it a little bit more difficult for us to bring down the ball and initiate offense, and became a little bit more disruptive. And we're working Odyssey into what we do, but still, it's tough because point guards are the ones who get you organized. And there were times where we weren't organized. There were times where we were over dribbling, got away from our off-ball actions and went straight to trying to go one-on-one. And that's when we're not successful or as successful as we can be. And so we got a little tunnel vision there. And that's where I say that we did some uncharacteristic things, at times.
I mean, you guys went on your own run there in the fourth, got back to obviously just the 1 point deficit. Just what changed between the third and the fourth, and when you guys start doing well?
I think our defensive energy, we got to force them into some tough shots, and we defended without fouling, and that allowed us to get out in transition and allowed us to push the ball and get some easy buckets. I thought our ATO execution at times was really good. We, especially in that fourth quarter, we got some good looks out of it. But more than anything, again, when it starts on the defensive end, it allows us to get out and to run in transition and to play faster. And we're at our best when we do that. And especially, when we're limited with the point guard position, you're not holding on to the ball for a long time. You're passing it ahead, you're attacking, you're going.
Disappointing. The physicality, we even talked about it pregame. How disruptive maybe was that to both maybe the flow and what both teams were trying to do and find their rhythm out there?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a physical game. I think there's a double standard in how people get their calls. I think Kelsey Mitchell, number one, is held or chucked on every freaking possession and never gets a call off the ball. I think Aaliyah Boston is the worst officiated post player in the league. She never gets a call. And there's a double standard there, certainly. But again, if it's going to be physical and you're gonna allow us to be physical, then allow both teams to be physical. If you're going to call the holds and you're going to call the chucks, and you're going to then call it both ways. So I mean, I think that we've been pretty consistent in what we're asking for, and I didn't feel like it was consistent, especially for those two. I think you could call a foul every time down the floor for those two.
It's tricky when you have a quasi-transition chance late, but did you consider a timeout earlier on that last trip? Did you like your last shot? What all went into that last
No,
8
I mean,
seconds?
I wanted us to, we knew it was going to be a low clock when we got it out, and we had been really good in transition, and we were in the penalty. So I wanted us to outlet and attack in transition. When it got to the point where we didn't attack and we just started dribbling sideways, I probably should have used it at the 3-second mark instead of a little bit later. I thought Kels might have had a baseline drive. That she ended up coming back to the middle, and so I didn't like that. But I did want us to push in transition with a low clock and limited opportunity.
Chloe was just in there. One of the things she said is you never should have been in this position at the end. You felt that if you had been smoother, you were at control of the game. How did you feel about that when it came down to the last shot?
Yeah, I think it's tough when you dig yourself a hole. In the first quarter and in the third quarter, we dug ourselves a hole. Turnovers for scores, easy buckets, free throws, all of those things. And, again, I continue to be proud of the grit and toughness and resilience of this group. But, our margin for error was small to begin with, and now it's even smaller. And everybody's hungry. Dallas came in and they played really well. They shot the ball really well. They have been playing well, have just not been able to finish games. And so, for us, our margin is small, and we've got to make sure our self-inflicted wounds, so to speak, we can afford those. We've got to be better and more locked in from the jump.
Anything else?